One other thing I just remembered about the purchasing process was we did just do a small update to our purchasing packet that Nate referenced on the web access site. So that actually includes some like different types of questions that you guys could think about as your colleagues are thinking about buying things. Yeah, so I want to talk today about a little bit about a web accessibility update. This has two parts to it. A strategy that we're hoping to implement with our liaison group, all of you guys, and a strategy that we are going to be following internally. So I'll go ahead and talk first about the liaison strategy. So because of recent events, we've been asked to report more frequently about compliance to some of the executive team. What that looks like is the total number of sites. Currently what we're using for that is actually the one-year reviews that you guys have turned in, where you list the websites that you've interacted with. We also are documenting remediation progress site by site. So in the one-year reviews, there were different statuses that you could put for what was the level of accessibility of the website. Did you just give it a look at, or did you actually remediate the whole thing? And what the average number of days since the last evaluation has been. This is important because accessibility can change. If you add more content, the content may be inaccessible. These are the types of data points that the executive team wants. So these are the types of things that we're hoping to provide. Obviously, we can't get all this information out there without your help. So we are going to be asking for some voluntary self-reporting. Now you may be asking, why would I voluntarily add another task to my list of things to do? So these are some of the points that we've been given that we're supposed to emphasize. It's really important for this self-reporting to happen because you can demonstrate your progress by MAU. This is important if you've made a lot of progress or if you've made a little progress. It's important if you've made a lot of progress because we're going to be documenting that and sending that up to our executive chain. And if you've made little progress and haven't been able to find resources to do the things that you want to do related to accessibility, then this will also be helpful because you should be able to use this as a point to have conversations with your executive teams. We are going to be tracking all the data that is voluntarily supplied by you guys, which means that we will have built-in tracking. When the one-year reviews come around next year, we will be able to just say, hey, here's all the stuff that you sent us. There you go. That way you don't have to think about mechanisms for tracking all of your websites and all of the different statuses related to the websites that you're working on. We see that as a big benefit because one of the pieces of feedback that we got was that it was kind of difficult to look back at a whole year's worth of web accessibility reviews and get all those into one spreadsheet. So that's one way which we'd be able to help you out with that. And again, this will bring some consumable metrics to executives, which is always a good thing, just to make sure that everyone's on the same page, we're all aware of what's going on, and so that we can advocate upwards and downwards if necessary. Yeah, so how we're hoping that this will pan out is that MAUs will provide updates on progress, and we will catalog all those updates in one central sheet, and we will report what has been sent by the first of each month. I think we're going to be starting that pretty much immediately. So if you are interested in this voluntary self-reporting bit, this is something I would definitely encourage you to think about. It sounds like extra work, but we really think that it will result in less work when the one-year reviews come around. And it will also be a good way to engage with our team. I know a lot of you are doing web accessibility efforts, and we really want to help you out. And this will be a good way to get that in front of us. And some other benefits for this is that we haven't had our meetings after the one-year reviews yet, just because of personnel changes and stuff like that. James went off to Microsoft. But we see this as a way to do some course correction along the way. So if we feel like you're not making enough progress, we can help you out with that. We're a central resource, and we're supposed to be able to help you guys to some degree with the different evaluations that you're doing, to make sure that we're all moving forward on accessibility. And again, yeah, we're going to help track your one-year review data for you. Just going back to what Madison was talking about earlier with the course accessibility update, this will mean that we will be able to provide you with metrics, if you're working with us on the course accessibility side, to you for the one-year reviews around course accessibility and web accessibility. And this is kind of how our team is hoping to coordinate some of these data points and metrics, and how we hope to help you out. Does anyone have questions? Kate?
Is this just for websites, or you want this information for courses too?
So Kate asked if this was just for websites or if we wanted this information for courses. For this part that I'm talking through, this is just for websites. For courses, we're hoping that if you are interested in tracking your course accessibility data, we're actually willing to let you use the templates that Madison was talking through, with the exception of the course accessibility badge, because that's something we really want people to go through our team for. So that would be a way to track your course data. But for this part, I'm talking about web accessibility data. And what that would look like, I guess, to provide a little bit more background on that, is we would basically just have a table or some set data points, and then you guys can just enter in what the 5 or 6 data points, I don't remember exactly how many it is, are for a website. It's actually quite simple. Oh, you're adding something.
I'll just add too, if you filled out, how many of you filled out the annual review for your college or department? Okay, so it's gonna look identical to the one you filled out for your annual review. So it should look very familiar. What's your website? What's the current status? When was the last time you made efforts for remediation on it, etc. So that's the same data that feeds into the master system that we're reporting to our executives.
Yeah. Did you have another part? Okay. Jeremy.
Yeah, that was kind of my question. What's the mechanism for this look like? We used to know reminders or how?
Yeah, so when you're asking, so Jeremy's question was, what does the mechanism for this look like? Are you talking about the mechanism for this process or how we're going to store the data?
Self-reporting.
Okay, yeah. If you're interested in doing self-reporting with us, please email webaccess@msu.edu. And I think we could send a monthly reminder to anyone that adds their name to the voluntary self-reporting list, and just ask everyone to provide an update on which websites, if any, they have done, and to fill out the table. And then we'll populate that into a master Excel sheet. Right now, that's our best option, storing that in Microsoft 365. Yeah. Does that answer? Okay. Any other questions about this side of the web accessibility update? Cool. All right, part 2. What are we going to be doing internally? So in the past, we haven't done as much of this, but we're going to be autonomously auditing websites that we deem to be high priority. This might mean your college level websites or your MAU's level website. And this isn't meant to be a cop-out for, hey, I don't have to do web accessibility evaluations now. What this means is that with the resource that we have, we are going to be auditing websites that are high priority. Priority might be provided to us by the ARC, the Accessibility Review Committee, which is kind of a steering committee of sorts for the accessibility initiative on campus. It might be provided to us by legal counsel, or again, we've talked through some of the data points that I've been really interested in, which is analytics and the importance of program service or activity that the websites represent. And those are things that we really are looking into as well. One thing that we're going to provide at some point, hopefully next week, is a list of some of the items that we use to think about priority. Another element in that is just whether or not something is highly publicized. So if you have a big initiative going on in your college right now or in your non-academic unit, and it's been widely read or widely publicized, then that's definitely something we want to make sure that that website, which is representing MSU's communications on the matter, can be accessed. This is a slight shift in direction. because we haven't necessarily jumped into people's websites without communicating with them previously in the past. But we're really being asked to do this because there are some high priority sites that we know are out there and that we're going to be engaging with. So this second bullet point actually is more pertinent to the first part of this conversation. But one thing that we're working with UARC, Graham's team, on is an auditing protocol. I think I mentioned this last time, or I've mentioned it if you have gone to web scanner meetings. That will include some manual inspection and using scan tools. Right now, the two that we're looking at is Wave and Ozart, which is a tool that we purchased centrally. And that will help you guys with this bit, with thinking about the websites that you've evaluated. What our autonomous auditing will look like is, a step beyond that. It'll be a little bit more thorough. But again, we're really hoping to engage these high priority sites. If you know of a high priority site and would like to volunteer to be audited, go ahead and let yourself be known to us. Otherwise, you'll probably hear from us anyway as we hear from our executive team about things that they know are important and being communicated about. Yeah, these are some of the data points that we use. The Accessibility Review Committee, we did a small survey. We have access to some analytics, internal complaints to the RCPD, and obviously any OCR things that might happen. Yeah. This is just kind of a primer for how to think about high priority stuff. If it's highly publicized or public, if it's an MAU level site, anything that's an entryway into the university. So that could be job sites, admissions sites, sites for donors, sites for payment, sites for sports. Anything that really involves a high degree of participation with the university, lets you get enmeshed with the community and really lets you be included as a member of MSU's community, is something that's high priority. Any questions about what that auditing process will look like? I guess one thing I should add is that as we do these audits, we're going to be hopefully engaging with you guys, the liaisons. We don't want to ever, do an audit and then have it come back to you guys and create an awkward situation. We've really relied on the liaison network in the past, and we want to do so in the future as well. Questions? Jeff?
Is the audit strictly review process, or is there a remediation process as well?
I think it would depend on the priority of the website. Sorry, repeat the question. Is the auditing process strictly a review process, or is it also a remediation process? And my answer for that is that it would really depend on the priority of the website. I think in a lot of instances our team would be involved on the review side and then encourage MAUs that have high priority sites to find resource to remediate websites. We understand that may not always be possible, but if it is a high priority thing and there is executive attention on it, then there might be some resource out there. Any other questions? Cool. I think that's the end of my part. Do you have any other closing thoughts? Actually stayed on time.
Well done.
Yeah, it's an improvement.
Just before we go, I thought I'd mention the handouts that we have. Before I do that, though, hopefully we're communicating that this is our effort to start to tighten the screws down around web accessibility here at Michigan State. You're going to hear us talking about this in terms of progressively evaluating, auditing sites more and more based on the priority of those sites. So we really want to continue to be a partner. If there's anything that we can do to improve that, as always, please communicate with us at webaccess@msu.edu or catch Phil or I or James Bender to talk through that. again, we want to continue to partner and resource you in ways that are most helpful, and we think we're taking some good steps towards that. So thanks for your commitment and your partnership to be here. I mean, I'm blown away when we get a group of 30 people together once a month to talk about web accessibility. This is our 24th meeting. You get that? For 2 years, we've built this group, and you guys have been committed to this within your colleges and departments. I'm thrilled by that. It's just fantastic. So kudos to you. Thank you for your partnership. And before you go, again, I brought quick tips. You've seen those. If you want to take a stack of those, please do. Take them back to your colleges. We mentioned the purchasing process sheet. This is an educational tool for your college or department. If you have questions about purchasing, what kind of questions are going to be asked, grab a few of those. And then lastly, hot off the press, we have our new video production services sheet, which includes our rates. So if you do have questions or interested in video production, this is good for academic or non-academic projects. We've done them all. We're starting this summer. We've done a lot of really fun projects that have been really cool. We're utilizing our students with that. So the rates start at $20 an hour for student help, and then for full-time staff production, it's about $50 an hour. And usually projects are a combination of those two, but we're really trying to scale this service by giving our students some great experience. So just be aware that that's available. If you want to take one of those, feel free. Other than that, I hope you have a great Friday and a great weekend. And we have one more question.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You can do it. That was awkward.
Hey everyone. I think I know most of you in the room. Those of you that I don't know, my name is Kate Sanka. I'm the Assistant Director of Academic Technology for the College of Arts and Letters. I also direct the Accessible Learning Conference, and several people in the crowd are on our planning committee, as well as Phil. But this is a conference that's happening for the third annual, on December 1st and 2nd. It's a Friday and Saturday. The CFP is open now, the call for proposals. So I highly encourage you to submit, and or please identify people within your units that you think might want to participate, especially students. We really want students to be a part of this as attendees and presenters. The URL is accessiblelearning.org, and we'll make sure that we get that out in the follow-up email that Nate sends out. But the CFP is open until October 1st, so we have about another month to accept those. We still have space for people to submit, so please do that. If you have questions about what this conference is, you can contact me at any time. My email address is ksonka, that's KSONKA, at msu.edu, and I'll make sure that info is also in there. But you can also ask several people that are in here scattered throughout who have been a part of it. So I really, really encourage you to attend this year. It's great. It's fun. Okay, thanks.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend. We'll see you.